A cordial greeting. Today is Wednesday, June 21, 2023. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia speaking. At the time of recording this video, it is 6:15 p.m. local time in the Lesser Antilles, where Tropical Storm Bret is heading. In this video, I will provide an update on the forecast for Tropical Storm Bret. Additionally, we will discuss Invest 93, which is close to becoming Tropical Depression number 4 of the season. Let's take a closer look at the visible satellite animation of the tropical storm. You can see that Tropical Storm Bret is gradually approaching the Caribbean region. However, it is being affected by some shear winds from the west, and we also have evidence that dry air has started to impact its circulation. We can see this in the form of arched clouds emanating from the center of the storm towards the north and northeast, which is associated with the collapse of thunderstorms. This is one of the main indicators when dry air interferes with cyclones. This aligns with the forecast we have discussed. Remember that we mentioned that when it reaches the Caribbean region, the shear winds will begin to increase significantly, and dry air will gradually penetrate the circulation of the tropical storm. Fortunately, these conditions have prevented Tropical Storm Bret from strengthening significantly, and currently, it has maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. This was confirmed by a Hurricane Hunter aircraft mission that investigated the storm today. When we take a closer look at the infrared satellite, you can see that Tropical Storm Bret is generating strong thunderstorms near its center of circulation. However, that center remains displaced to the west of the most intense area of thunderstorms. This is an effect of the shear winds and dry air that continue to affect this cyclone. It is important to mention that the most active part of rainfall and winds remains to the north-northeast of the circulation, and this was confirmed by the Hurricane Hunter aircraft mission. Notice that the center of circulation is located in this area, but the tropical storm winds are limited to the northern part. This is very important in terms of the expected effects on the Lesser Antilles, as the islands to the north of the circulation center will be the ones experiencing tropical storm conditions. The forecast from the National Hurricane Center has undergone few changes today. A westward trajectory is still expected over the next few days. It should be reaching the Lesser Antilles arc in the early hours of Friday as a tropical storm with winds between 55 to 60 miles per hour. It is then expected that the storm will rapidly weaken as it crosses the Caribbean Sea and dissipate north of Colombia and south of the Dominican Republic. For our followers in Jamaica and Central America, as well as the Yucatan Peninsula region, you should not be concerned about Tropical Storm Bret as it will be dissipating in that area. Also, note that tropical storm advisories have been issued for some of the islands, including Martinique and St. Lucia. Additionally, tropical storm watches are in effect for Barbados, St. Vincent, Grenada, and Dominica. This forecast aligns well with the track models. You can see that the majority of them maintain a westward trajectory. Remember that we are disregarding the HWRF model because it has been overly aggressive in strengthening Tropical Storm Bret. For residents of Honduras, Nicaragua, and Belize, don't worry because this trajectory does not imply that it will reach your area as a tropical cyclone, but rather as a disturbance that may bring some rain. However, the storm should dissipate in the Caribbean Sea on Saturday or Sunday. This is consistently predicted by the intensity models. Notice that all of them begin to rapidly weaken Tropical Storm Bret over the next few hours. It is anticipated that by Saturday, it will dissipate into a tropical wave. Regarding the expected effects on the islands, observe that the GFS model is forecasting that it should reach the Martinique region in the early hours of Friday. The most active part with tropical storm winds should remain to the north of the circulation. These winds, ranging from 40 to 65 miles per hour, may affect the islands of St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, and Guadeloupe. If it follows the track projected by the GFS model, for example, the islands of St. Vincent and Barbados would not experience tropical storm force winds. However, they should still prepare because the other model, the European model, has a track slightly further south, and if this forecast holds, tropical storm winds could affect more islands, including Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, and St. Vincent. Also, take into consideration the heavy rainfall anticipated. The GFS model is forecasting between 4 to 5 inches of rain over the next 72 hours, particularly for the islands of Guadeloupe, Dominica, and Martinique. For St. Lucia and Barbados, expect between 1 to 2 inches of rain. The European model has a similar forecast but, due to a more southerly track, it places the highest accumulations over the islands of St. Vincent, Barbados, St. Lucia, and Martinique. We still need to see which island will experience the most significant effects, but it is important that if you live from Guadeloupe to St. Vincent, you should be prepared to face a tropical storm. Now, briefly, I wanted to talk about Invest 93. It is a strong tropical wave with an 80% chance of development, and we can see that it has become more active in terms of thunderstorm activity near the center of circulation. This disturbance is close to becoming Tropical Depression number 4 and may possibly strengthen into Tropical Storm Cindy as it moves northwestward. For now, it appears that it will pass at a distant distance from the Caribbean. However, the northeastern region of the Caribbean should remain vigilant in case there are any further westward changes. If we zoom in on the satellite image, you can see that it has become more organized in the past few hours. I understand that it will soon be classified as a tropical depression. The track models continue to show a good consensus that it will pass northeast of the Caribbean. However, we will be attentive to any variations, but for now, there is no risk to the Caribbean. Also, the conditions are not favorable for significant strengthening. The models forecast a moderate tropical storm, and by the weekend, it would start to weaken as it moves northeast of the Caribbean. Well, that would be all for today. It's quite surprising to see the tropical Atlantic so active. In fact, some models predict that several strong tropical waves will continue to emerge from Africa in the coming weeks. We will be monitoring this unusual situation in the Atlantic, which is related to the unusually warm temperatures we are experiencing right now. It's incredible that both the tropical Atlantic and the subtropical Atlantic remain so warm. In fact, over the past few weeks, they have continued to warm to record levels for this time of year. This is concerning, especially just before the peak of the season. Indications for this hurricane season suggest that the El Niño phenomenon will at least partially protect the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, as we are seeing with Tropical Storm Bret facing shear winds that will weaken it once it reaches the Caribbean. However, it's possible that this hurricane season will be very active in the region between Africa and the Caribbean. This aligns with the models we have seen in recent weeks, which you can find in the video I recorded earlier this month to give you an idea of how warm the North Atlantic is. Here, you can see the record-breaking surface temperature anomalies in the North Atlantic. The red line represents the current anomalies, which are at a record 1.27 degrees Celsius above normal. Since 1982, no other year comes close to the values we have today. This is a historic and very concerning event as we approach the peak of the season. Remember to always be prepared in case any cyclone threatens the region where you live. Well, that would be all for today. I hope you have a great evening. To our followers in the Lesser Antilles, you should be finishing up your preparations. Goodbye for now.